So Freddie and Lee, I just want to start by saying thank you for being willing to sit down and have this conversation. I know there was some conflict in the meeting this morning. And so to give you a little overview, you'll both have a chance to share your story about what happened, how you were impacted, how others might have been impacted, and then how we can make things right and move forward. But before we get into things, I just want to make sure that you have everything you need to have this conversation. You need water, tea, a snack, to use the restroom, anything like that?
I'm fine.
You're good. Freddie?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so Lee, I'd love to start with you. Starting from the beginning, can you share what happened?
Sure. Well, just to back up a little bit, we had been working on this project together for a little while. We were working on it last night, so about 9, 10 o'clock. I don't remember exactly what time. And then I had to make some tweaks to the PowerPoint. So I went home to work on it on my own and was up till about 2 o'clock this morning working on it. As I was working on the budget part of the PowerPoint, I noticed a discrepancy. So I made a change to correct it and sent Freddie an email and then went to sleep and then got here this bright and early this morning to do the presentation. And when we get to the budget part of it, I don't know what happened. I just, like Freddie responded in a way that was very condescending and in front of everybody, and it made me feel so sick to my stomach. I didn't know what to do. I was blindsided, and I felt very upset and frustrated and angry and embarrassed by what had happened. And I don't know what else to say about that.
Okay. And Freddie, can you share from your perspective about what happened?
Sure. I would say that, as Lee said, we worked on the budget later than normally, than we would work on it. And she went home to do some last minute tweaks on the deck. And I got an email at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was asleep and I was a little harried this morning, trying to get the kids to school. One of them wasn't feeling well. I got to work and I didn't want to be late to the meeting, so I didn't stop to check my email. So I was unaware of the change. So during the presentation, get to the budget, it's 25% more. And I didn't understand what was going on. I was confused. I was a little embarrassed about that because we hadn't changed the handouts to reflect that. So, I just first want to say that the way that I responded to that instant was very unprofessional. And I want to apologize to you, Lee, because if someone had talked to me that way in the meeting, I would have been pretty hot and upset. And I could have handled it much differently. I could have pulled you out of the room. I didn't do that, and I am sincerely sorry for doing that. So I hope you will accept my apology for that.
I will. I do. Thank you. It has just been so hard. I just didn't expect it to happen, to be talked to in that way so publicly. And it just threw me. And so I have been fuming. And so that really means a lot to me. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not normally the way we interact with one another. We have a really great relationship outside of work as well. And, I can't recall us ever having this type of issue, especially in a staff meeting. I'm glad the client wasn't there. But, I do want you to know that I am truly sorry that I responded that way. I snapped. and it was out of frustration. But I will say that, getting the email at 2:00 in the morning is not something, you and I are not morning people. We know that about each other. I appreciate you working late. However, it would have been better if you had caught me before we went into the meeting, just to give me the heads up.
No, you're right. You're right. I was tired and I wasn't really thinking. I should have checked in. I should have checked in beforehand. I might not have checked my email at 2:00 in the morning, now that I think about it in hindsight. So I apologize for that, because I wouldn't have wanted to be blindsided. And it was a significant change to the budget, and I hadn't even thought about the handouts, right? I changed the budget, I didn't change the handouts, so now there's another discrepancy. Why you're the budget whiz? Like, I didn't think about that. I've been really wanting to work on budgets. I got so excited, Freddie, when I found the discrepancy. I'm like, oh, I'm better at budgets than I thought. And I just shot you that email thinking that you would have a chance to read it, but totally understand why you wouldn't have. I hope your daughter's okay. Is everything all right?
Yeah, she just, it's getting a little cold. It was whiny. Slow to get into the car, not wanting to go to school.
Yeah.
So, but she's fine. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, maybe in the excitement over, being able to do a budget better than I thought, I've been probably more hinting at the fact that I want to learn how to work on budgets with you. You're the budget whiz. I've learned, I learned enough to find a discrepancy from you. So I've been wanting to learn more about that. And
All you have to do is ask.
I should have asked, you're right. Okay, I'm asking. I want to learn more about budgets. Can you help me with that?
I think that we can make that happen, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we'll figure that out, but definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, and I also want to let you know that if anything like this ever happens again, which I am hopeful that it will not, that I will pull you outside of the meeting.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
That I will check in with myself, take some breaths, like my grandmother used to say, just, count to 5, count to 10, and just pause the meeting and step outside.
Yeah.
Because I don't want this to affect us any more than it has.
I appreciate it.
And I don't want you to feel that way again.
Yeah, and nor you, I know it's not like you. You generally the woosai gal.
Well, before we move forward, I want to share a little bit about how I was impacted, and I was a little bit concerned about how your team members were confused during the meeting about the discrepancies in the budget, and how they left the meeting maybe feeling a little bit of the tension from your conflict. And so that was, part of the reason I wanted to sit you down and have this conversation. And so I'm curious if you have any thoughts about how your team members were impacted and how you might be able to move forward with them.
Well, I mean, I think it's important for team morale to address it, apologize. I mean, I'm willing to apologize to them at the next staff meeting.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and I apologize to you. It shouldn't have happened in a staff meeting. I think it's important for them to know that we've resolved the issue, and I'm willing to, apologize to the team with you at the next staff meeting.
Yeah. I would really appreciate that. I think that would be really great, and would just show them, a model of leadership about how to move forward from conflict. So that would be really great if you could do that at the meeting on Thursday.
Yeah, not a problem.
Great. And then, some of the other agreements that you came up with, I wanted to ask if you could get a little more specific around was the budget, right? So you offered to give Lee some advice around the budget and support them in learning about that. Do you want to set a time to meet about that?
Well, I don't have a lot of time in the next couple weeks, but I do have time this Saturday while the girls are dancing, if you want to come over to the coffee shop at my house. I can, by the end of today, I can send you some sample budgets.
Okay.
We have a new project coming up, and I can let you take the first stab at the first outline of the budget.
Okay. All right. What time is
11 to 1
11
sound
to
good?
1? Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll text you in the morning just to remind you, not
Okay.
before 10.
Not
But yeah, I'll text you Saturday morning, 10,
Okay.
to let you know that I'm on my way over there. And it'll give you the opportunity also, if I send you the budgets early, the sample ones, to bring any questions with you.
Okay, cool.
Does that sound good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So just to reiterate the agreements, y'all have agreed to have clear communication check-ins with each other before meetings when you're working on projects together, whether that's a text or just kind of meeting in one of your offices before you go into the meeting. You've decided that if a conflict does arise, a discrepancy does arise like this again, that you will pull each other aside and speak privately instead of in front of the team. You've decided that in Thursday's staff meeting, you can apologize to the team members and let them know that you've had this conversation and you're good to move forward in your relationship together. And then on Saturday at 11, you're going to meet at the coffee shop near Freddie's house to go over the budget and do some skill sharing, which I think is wonderful. Is there anything else that you need to move forward, Lee? No? Freddie?
No, just, I apologize for my outburst, and, I look forward to working with Lee on the budgets, because I think that, you're really going to knock it out of the park. I think you're very capable.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
So, and I just want our team to be really strong moving forward. And the more you learn, I think the stronger we'll be. Yeah, that's it.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for being willing to have this conversation. And, you're such a dynamic duo on the team, and I know people really look up to y'all. So I think it's great that you are able to have this conversation and be able to move forward in your relationship. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.